Yeah, there's been a lot of deep healing in the mind. Very strong desire within the mind to wake up. So everything that's not truth, everything that's not God, everything that's not love is going to come up. It's coming up. So it can be undone. Our lesson today is a beautiful expression of this readiness to move past the world. So we can just dive in here. Lesson 346. Today the peace of God envelops me, and I forget all things except His love. Today the peace of God envelops me, and I forget all things except His love. I forget all things except His love. Father, I awake today with miracles correcting my perception of all things. And so begins the day I share with you, as I will share eternity, for time has stepped aside today. I do not seek the things of time, and so I will not look upon them. What I seek today transcends all laws of time and things perceived in time. I would forget all things except your love. I would abide in you and know no laws except your law of love. And I would find the peace which you created for your Son, forgetting all the foolish toys I made as I behold your glory and my own. I would find the peace which you created for your Son, forgetting all the foolish toys I made as I behold your glory and my own. And when the evening comes today, we will remember nothing but the peace of God. For we will learn today what peace is ours when we forget all things except God's love. Now we can just rest in this moment. Letting ourselves forget all things except God's love. What I seek today transcends all laws of time. The oneness, the love of God transcends all laws of time. whatever beliefs there are about how things are, how the world operates, all of that is transcended by the love of God. And what does Jesus say about the laws of the world, the laws of time? I am under no laws but God's. I am under no laws but God's. Whatever the beliefs that you have are about the world, it can be swept away completely. Just ties back to the beginning of the workbook. I do not know what anything is for. I do not know what anything is for. Our lesson today reminds us that we want to forget all of that, the laws of the world, the things of the world. That what we really want is God's love. Period. Not the love of God and a fancy car. Not the love of God and the big bank account. Because if we have perfect peace, endless love, what do these little trifling things of time and space mean to us? Again, our lesson today is, today the peace of God envelops me, and I forget all things except his love. Sounds pretty good. So whatever it is that we're doing, we can do it from this deep state of pure love. So I see Jenny and Karen heading down the road on their way back to Spain. Makes me think of Saturday's movie. Martin Luther King Jr. described this God experience he had on the road driving to Atlanta. He said for 2 hours, he was just floating. The car wasn't even touching the ground. Just riding with God. So who's in for a ride with God? Who wants to jump in that car? Well, this lesson is how we do that. Practicing forgetting all things except God's love. And it is just practicing again and again. Oh, something comes to mind that's upsetting. Oh, I want to forget this and remember God's love. I'm not talking about denying your feelings here, but remembering what it is you really want. Jesus tells us that we don't ask for too much, but for far too little. What's he talking about? He's saying far too little are your worldly dreams, your worldly hopes. That's far, far too little. Let me forget these things and remember your love, God. This is why we're always talking about putting things on the altar. I want to put this worldly issue, this worldly focus on the altar. Because I know if I hand it over and let it go, I can reconnect with you, God. This is what Jesus was talking about when he said, whoever drinks from my mouth shall become like me, and the hidden things shall be revealed. There's nothing that's truly been hidden, but we have blocked our awareness of this blazing light of God's love. And to truly join with Jesus, with our brother, is how we remember what we never truly left, but has left our awareness. So if anyone here is chewing on something that, as this lesson says, you want to forget, you can put it on the altar here. You can share it in the group. Because that is how we heal it and then forget it. We want to forget anger. We want to forget judgment. We want to forget a grievance. Even a grievance against ourselves. Let's forget that too. As we do this work, there can even be times where we get worried. If I forget all of this, what's gonna be left? About this thing I think is me. Yeah, maybe we don't need it as much as we think we do. Because what we really are is so much better than what we've thought we are. I love those pictures of Jesus with a heart on fire. You see sometimes a light or love kind of shining out from that heart. Just radiating love. Radiating love. Let me forget all things but that. But you're radiating love, God. And some of those flaming heart pictures with Jesus, there's a little crown on top of the heart. I kind of see that crown as like the I am. Because that love is the I am. That ever-present love is not exclusive. It's not for some, it's not for certain times. It's ever present, always, for everyone, without exception. Can you feel that? Can you open up to that? If you're not there, then there's an opportunity for something to be brought forward so it can unwind. Vanessa.
Yeah, I think I want to release, to put in the altar this belief that I need to defend myself. I need to protect myself. I need to yeah. And it brings me so much anger and the feeling that I'm alone in my mind whenever I think about that. I need to protect myself, protect about something. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah. When we go into these patterns of attack and defense, we can't feel that love that we're talking about. We can't know peace. It's not available. And even if it looks like you're attacking someone else, your brother, you're really attacking yourself. So you can even ask yourself, do I deserve this? Do I deserve to be attacked? And the answer is, of course not. when we were kids, it was this kind of silly thing that sometimes you'd do to a friend or a sibling or something, or you take their hand and then sort of hit themselves with their hand and tell them to stop hitting themselves. Stop hitting yourself, Barret. But in a way, that's what we want to start telling ourselves. Like, stop hitting yourself, Vanessa. You know, anytime there's a judgment, there's an attack thought, you want to stop hitting yourself. Because it actually is kind of like that little example. It's kind of silly. It's a silly thing, a childish thing. And the way that we start to grow up, the way that we start to come into our true mature state is we have to realize we've been childish. We've been being childish. And once we see that, then we can really realize what we want. I don't want to be childish. I don't want to hit myself. I don't want to beat myself up. Even if that beating myself up looks like judging someone else. And as we all know, this is so deeply ingrained to just make that promise or that decision once within our mind is not going to be enough. We have to repeat it each time we fall into the ego's judgment trap again. And our determination goes deeper and deeper. We start to feel it more and more. I want to wake up. I want the peace of God. I want to remember His perfect love for me. Because some of the time is not enough. You know, as we start this journey, getting even a little glimpse of God's love is amazing. And it's transformative and it's inspiring. But as we keep going forward, a little bit of God's love is not enough for us. A little glimpse doesn't satisfy us. We want it all. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing to really know that we want all of God's love. We don't want a scrap of fear left in our minds. Because of course, God's love is always given completely to us in every moment. But when our mind is clouded and scattered, filled with thoughts of separation and judgment, we're not able to experience what's here. So we come back to our lesson today. Today, the peace of God envelops me, and I forget all things except His love. Hey, Mom. Who else has a scrap of judgment to share and unwind? Rosa?
A scrap. Here comes a scrap. There's a scrap of judgment. And it's funny because thanks to the lesson, I could see that this is a judgment on my own body. I couldn't see it before the lesson. Before the lesson, I called the physiotherapist because, anyway, there's a thing with my joints or my hip joints. So I operated one many years ago, actually. And then I woke up in the middle of the night and this morning with stuff going on around the other one. So immediately I go to thoughts about, okay, let's see what the world has to say. What's the latest? How can I prevent? Oh, now I have to lose weight, or I have to do it for the hip, blah, blah, blah. So I call already before the lesson, I make a call. And now I think, oh my God. First of all, it's just a thought about the future. I have no idea, it's just an assumption that I followed. And second of all, that's not to stay and forget everything but God's love. That's fixing in form again. And that's how quickly I go to that place in the world. And, so that's what I saw, and I thought it was even funny, to see it. And then I also want to say that every day now I feel so much power. I feel so much power in my body, and just being still, it's like. And yesterday I watched a movie with my son, which was so powerful. And I remember I was just sitting straight up in the couch at times and just, we watched Dune, I don't know how you say it. Wow. Yeah. So, and I'm very curious about guidance. I have no idea what it is. I have some little idea sometimes, but most of the time, I don't know how to difference the thoughts that I get. And a lot of people say for a lot of things that they hear in their head, it's guidance, but I have no idea how to distinguish them. Or a few times I do. So I'd love to hear how I can be more awake to what's what, and to actually follow the force, life force, him, it.
Yeah. Well, I think you have the beginning of it. As you said, there have been times where you've known what the guidance is. So it's not, as you first said, that you have no idea. That's just a belief in you that maybe it's not available. But even your example of this morning is an opportunity for how to invite guidance in more and more. You said your kind of first reaction was make a phone call.
Yeah.
Maybe something like that happens and you let your first reaction be to make a phone call to God.
Mm.
And it
Yeah.
may still be to then make a phone call to the physiotherapist. That could end up being a holy encounter. But if you really let yourself pray first around it, I think you probably do have a way to tune in around guidance. I think it's often just a matter of deciding that that's where your direction is up front. That you want to listen to Holy Spirit. You want to pray to be shown what is truly helpful. When you practice that, those prayers, those ideas, you're going to feel yourself more and more open to guidance. One of the hardest parts of that is there just has to be a willingness to not be in charge.
And how about a willingness, not knowing what it is that you're following? I mean, I can understand that at some points we do know, maybe, or I even could say that I could know, but how do we know? How can we say that it's guidance? I mean,
yeah, and in the beginning it can feel like what you're describing, just like this feeling of not knowing, uncertainty. And that's where deepening in trust, deepening in prayer will show you that more and more. And there may be a certain amount of kind of trying it out, Well, I don't know for sure. I don't feel 100% clear on this, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try to go for what I feel is being shown to me.
yeah.
And maybe Jenny has some ideas on this one too.
But yeah, I feel the same. To try it out, you learn like learn to ride a bike, and you don't know how to ride a bike. You learn it until you practice it. So you actually need to test out, guys. But yeah, this is the way I've learned it, is to try it out, because the intuition will grow and you learn more and more. But like Barret said, you have to be so obedient. You have to want to follow it. Because the ego has its own guidance. And it wants to keep coming in,
Yeah.
So the obedience part is important. We do hear guidance. We just need to follow it. And the muscle will strengthen.
Say the last thing again.
The muscle, the guidance muscle will strengthen the more you use it.
Thank you very much.
Because I can say, we want the joy that comes from following guidance, and it will only lead to joy. the ego says you're going to lose something by following guidance. But then we need to go through that belief of loss, and we may need to go through it over and over again. I find, like, Barret has a huge example. It's very simple with his toothbrush. When he was guided to not buy a new toothbrush a year ago.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. And then it was given. The trust and meditation is part of it. And that the ego is no patience. It just wants to lead in its own way. So, yeah, I'm going to mute myself.
Okay. Thank you, Jenny. Yeah.
Barret, what did she say there in the end about? I couldn't really hear.
Yeah, she was saying that sometimes, like that toothbrush example, you need to have patience.
Mm.
And it may unfold in a very different way than, the body, the person would think is the way it should go.
Mm.
So I know you remember, but I don't know, there might be other people who haven't heard the story. Before I moved to Europe to be with Jenny, I knew I kind of needed a new toothbrush, because my toothbrush heads were running out, and I didn't really like the kind that I had. It was sort of like, it was fine, but it was not so great. So Barret thought, well, I'll just buy a different electric toothbrush. I'll buy a little better one, maybe. My guidance was so clear: just buy some replacement heads for the one you have. So I listened and I followed. I bought the replacement heads, and then I moved out to Europe to be with Jenny. A few months after we were there together, maybe just a month or two, the Amazon delivery guy comes, and we were expecting a package, but he brings 2 packages. So I don't really know what it is. I start to open it up, and the first box is what we'd ordered. I open the second box, or before I even open the second box, I realized that it has someone else's name on it and my name. So I rush out to the delivery driver to try to give him back the box. You say, no, this isn't for us. This should go to the other person who's on here. And the delivery driver hands the box back to me. He says, a gift for you. This is in France, so he only had a little English, but he said, a gift for you. And he drives off. He didn't want to hear about delivering it to someone else. So I go back inside with the box and I open it. And what is in this box but a top of the line electric toothbrush, like the best one you can possibly buy, like for 150 or 200 euros worth of toothbrush. I would never spend that much on a toothbrush. It was a gift for me. Jenny was in the other room at the time, and she just could hear me laughing. She's like, what is going on? I had to go tell her what had happened. But this is how things can go sometimes. This was just an opportunity for me to listen and follow and receive. But I like that analogy that Jenny used of the listening to guidance is like strengthening the muscles.
Mm.
We can think of Holy Spirit as our personal trainer.
Mm.
And the personal trainer is the person at the gym who's going to help you work out better. Who's going to help you use your time the best.
Yeah.
He knows what exercises are helpful. It might be different than what you think you need.
Yeah, he might send you home. Yeah. And I love your analogy also, Barret, about, but did you make a phone call to God? No, I didn't. But that's the first guy to talk to, right? That's the first thing to do. I forget that so many times. I forget it so many times. And I do remember it a lot as well. Otherwise, I wouldn't feel like I do, right? Because this doesn't come from, it's not that, you know, stuff has happened in my life apart from inside my own perspective on life. But yeah, so it's both. But thank you. Yeah. Yeah, and thank you, Jenny, for saying to be obedient or to follow the guidance, because yeah, I just have to be, yeah, I thank you very much. I get it.
Beautiful. Thank you also.
I feel like I need to confess something. It's an addiction. Had it early in my life, and it's coming up again, and it's it's a ridiculous thing, you know. It's just an app, and it's what's it called? Solitaire.
Solitaire.
And I can see it. I can watch my mind. I can see it. I can see I'm trying to avoid things, and it feels like a kind of vacation, you know. It's like, and I think I'm able to see that what it is that's up when I suddenly it's a lot when I go to bed. And I still have things up around, you know, some patterns, especially around the evenings and going to bed. Some patterns that seems to be kind of fixed with Peter, and I don't know how to speak it up. I don't know how to put words on it, and it's definitely something about not feeling joined and feeling alone. And I think I'm afraid of speaking up. We have had it up several times. It's not new. It's an old feeling. It goes deep. And I think when it is during the day, it is definitely when I feel as something I probably need to speak up about how I feel, and I don't. I'm afraid it's going to be like, I think I'm afraid it's going to be perceived like a blame or something. Like, and I'm not even sure, you know, I don't know. It's seemingly it's a form that's triggering something, you know, but I don't know how it's going to look like. I don't know how it is informed, but there's just something. And I have this Groundhog Day feeling, like and that's where the addiction comes in. That's where I just disappear in this. And I get so angry with myself. Like, I was so angry last night, I even couldn't sleep. I was awake for several hours. Like, scratching, getting energy, my eyes, everything. I couldn't. It was like I couldn't be in this body. It was just intense.
Yeah, well, in the movie Groundhog Day that it gets pretty dark for Bill Murray before he starts to choose kindness and love. I mean, I don't know how many ways he kills himself in that movie. That's how much pain he's in.
Yeah. I can understand that. I get so angry with myself.
And it's just a different addiction than the solitaire.
Yeah. It's like I kind of know, I kind of know it's a little about this hearing guidance, Many times I hear it and I know this is it. And then I just can't carry it through. Yeah, like, and the hesitation, then all the doubts come in, Just need to hesitate just a little. And it's just, yeah.
But the fact that you're seeing that is the issue is actually good. Come back. So what David said on Saturday, it's just three things. It's pray, listen, follow. And so it sounds like you're praying, you're listening, you hear, you're getting stuck between listen and the follow. And how do you work through that? Just notice your fear. You hand your fear over too. You hand your fear over to spirit. When you get an impulse to play solitaire on your phone, that's when you should pick up your phone, but you should call God. That's when you go back to the first step. Pray, listen, and then follow. And again, when it doesn't feel smooth, when it feels like you get hung up, then you just take that hang up, whatever is hanging you up, and you put that on the altar. I can at least decide I do not like what I'm feeling now. And I know there is another way. could be a good place to focus on the rules for decision. Kind of read through that again. And I think especially around the solitaire thing, because it is just an avoidance. It's a denial of the present moment. That may be one of these ways you can call God is you open up rules for decision. And you go through that. You know, that whole section says, what kind of day do I want? But you could even ask, what kind of moment do I want? What kind of experience right now do I want? This is that personal trainer. This is that building the muscle of your right-mindedness. And we want to build the muscles so much, it's like Mr. Universe, you know, Adonis, muscled up guy, be that strong.
Still talking with Solveig?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't hear what you answered fully, Barret, but yeah. I feel, you know, to check in with guidance before you do anything, and especially if it's a pattern, if it's an addiction, something you return to, what is there that you want to avoid? You know, the moment you sit down and do the solitaire, what is it you want to avoid? And give yourself 5, 10, 15 minutes with God and, you know, and look at your mind, because that's much more fun, actually. That's much more meaningful, but you may not think so. So we're unmuted. Yeah. Maybe you could just kind of wait. Yeah, just to see what God has for you, or what you need to heal. And it could be that you actually don't think you can heal. You think it's impossible, you know. And you said you often do it. You always do it in the evening, I think you said. So what is it that comes up in the evening? Thanks for exposing it. Thanks for putting it on the altar, for sharing. You know, because addictions they want to be hidden. That's why they are addictions. Yeah. So thanks.
Thank you.
Peter?
Hi, everybody. Hi. During this session, I became aware of how inspired I felt about the peace and the love of God. And actually how difficult that is to share, to expose that. Feels like so just at this moment, just trying to sit with you with that. I think I just wanted to share that I just love the peace of God. And yeah, and I forget all things except his love, you know, and that is true, and that is possible, and that is now. And it's not like there isn't bits going on around all that, but yeah, it just feels important to express it. I can feel I just want to weep, but I just don't, feels I don't want to let that either. Actually, it doesn't feel. So yeah, I think that's it. Hoorah.
Hurrah, hooray.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Hooray. Go for it, Peter. Share the love of God. Melt into it.
Yeah, was there anything else wants to be shared today? Ava?
Yeah, I want to share that I feel so much of that, to dare to express that love and to receive the love and to dare to accept it. And so I also felt what Peter expressed, and then to see that everything is included in that. So, because many times I've felt like, oh, let's stay there. Don't mention the war. And I can see that it's that way too. It must come up. It must be recognized and left over, put on the altar. So I think for me to see that, yes, it's nothing dangerous. It must come up and be seen and then given over, and it's still there to, it's allowed, the love, allow it in. So I'm very grateful for you all. I can really feel that it's so good to be with you. So thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Ava. What just comes to mind as you share is, this healing is like sort of like cleaning a yard that's full of leaves. You know, if all the leaves are our old beliefs and patterns and thoughts, every time a wind comes through, the wind of the world, it's going to stir up the leaves, and all of a sudden our vision is going to be very obscured. But if every time we heal, we're raking more leaves out of the yard, we're cleaning the space, we're clearing it, then when there's only a few leaves and the wind comes through, our vision's not so obscured, it's not so blocked. So it's like this desire to just keep clearing the sort of dead matter out of our mind, out of our being. So so we can be in that love, that joy.
Yeah, and now when I hear this, I can see I've been so terrified of all the leaves, you know. I've been so terrified. And I haven't wanted to see, because it's my responsibility that I have messed this up with all the leaves, you know. So now to feel the love coming in, because I can feel it. Yeah, that's what's happening, and all is well that it comes in. So yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. It's sort of like the old way of dealing with the leaves is to try to push them down. Like, oh, well, when it's not windy, then everything's nice. I'm just going to push these down, but they're not gone. The next wind brings them all up again. And Jesus is sort of standing there with the rake and sort of gently encouraging. Maybe we should work on those leaves.
Yeah, to see that it's not a cruel God or a cruel Jesus doing that. It's of love doing that.
Yeah, time to clear out the garden.
Yes. Willing to be raking leaves.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's beautiful. Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe that's a good place for us to wind down, unless there's anything in our downstairs group. And Anna. Okay. Well, very, very sweet, love-filled time with you all today. And yeah, let's just use this lesson as sort of a rousing inspiration. Today, the peace of God envelops me, and I forget all things except his love. I forget all things except his love. Okay. All right. We'll connect again soon. Love you all. All right. Bye, everyone.